he was known as a moderate, not a liberal, not a conservative. And when he left the Seventh Circuit 5 years later to go to the Supreme Court, Levy, who was the Attorney General and former president of Chicago University, reported to the president, Ford, that here is a moderate. And that's the way Stevens started with the United States Supreme Court, especially in his first term. But as the years developed and as more conservatism became in vogue with the Supreme Court, he became less moderate and more liberal.
He and Justice Ginsburg and of course Souter at one point and so on do comprise the liberal side according to the way the scores are kept. And when you get into the weeds of the different cases, that's all a judgment call, because you can call a decision liberal or conservative depending on how you interpret it. But be that as it may, I think Gene would agree that we can trace the change, the statistical change, to the advent of the Reagan era. Some of the Reagan appointees, I think Justice Stevens, for whatever reason, found problems with their reasoning, and he began to be a little more assertive in what is now identified as the liberal court, particularly against the notions of textualism and originalism and all that sort of thing.
Stevens himself considers the fact that each justice appointed during his career as a Supreme Court justice was more conservative than his predecessor, including Stevens himself, who succeeded Justice Douglas. And it's his comment that he hasn't moved, but the court has moved to the right.
I would say he was not a courtroom lawyer. He was a person who tried to get people on two sides together. In those days, we're talking the early 50s, late 40s, antitrust law was a very, very big area of law. It was almost, you want almost say, a sexy area of law, which is hard to imagine. But it was, because coming out of World War II, there was a lot of business growth. There was a lot of conglomeration in all sorts of industries, from the movie industry to, grocery stores. The chain stores were coming on. So antitrust law was very important, and you had some very activist people coming out of the Roosevelt administration who remained in positions of power, who were very much opposed to bigness per se. And so, again, it was a lucrative area for lawyers, and it was a fascinating intellectual area. I think Stevens learned a lot about resolving disputes in that area just by virtue of the complexity of the subject matter involved.